management series. This is a system which we are going to create from scratch. So we're going to create a folder and we name it employee management system. After creating the folder, I'm going to open it in Visual Studio Code. So let me open Visual Studio Code, and I can drag this folder into Visual Studio Code like this. Good. So having placed our folder in Visual Studio Code, we are now good to go. We are going to open up our terminal. So the first thing we are going to do is to create a virtual environment. So a virtual environment is going to help us store all the packages which I need for our project in one place. So, and you have to make sure that Python is installed. So let's check if Python is installed. Python version, yes. This is the current version as of the time of recording this video. And from there, we are now going to create a virtual environment. So we are going to run Python m virtual environment followed by the environment name. So for my case, I'm calling this virtual environment env. So just give it some time, and it's going to create this folder with other subfolders in there for the virtual environment. So mine has automatically activated. That's why you're seeing here env. But in case you create your virtual environment and it does not activate automatically, the command to activate it is source. Then you navigate to env/bin/activate. So when you do this, you're going to automatically activate it. So having now activated our virtual environment, the next thing we are going to install the Django, since you're going to use the Django, which is a Python framework to create the employee management system. So we are going to run pip install the Django and press enter, then give it some time to install the Django. Good. So the Django is now installed. After installing the Django, what we are going to do, we are now able to create our Django project. So we shall run the Django admin start project. Then we are going to put on the project name. So I'm going to call it employee system. Then I'm going to press enter. So as you can see here, employee system has been created. However, because we did not add a dot at the end, it has created another folder. So what we can do, I want to create it directly within my desktop folder. So I can delete this, and then after deleting this, I rerun the command, but now I end with a dot. So the dot means that we are creating it in the current folder to avoid duplication of folders. So as you can see, we now have our employee system with all these files. I also have manage.py. So from here, we can be able to create our super user. So in case you are new to the Django, there is a tutorial which I attached a link down here, which you can use to first get basics of the Django. So I believe at least you know some basics about Django, and we are creating a real world application. So we are going to create we are going to create a super user, but before we can create a super user, we need to first run migrations so that we can have the default database tables created. So we shall run Python manage.py migrate command. So it is going to create the default database tables, and it is going to create also this file db.sqlite3. Then from here now we can be able to create our super user. So Python manage.py create super user. So the super user is going to help us log into the admin panel. Username, you can just put any username. Then the email, let me just put this one. Then the password, create a password. When you're typing a password, it will not appear, but it will be captured. So you can just say yes. Good. So the super user has been created. So since the super user has been created, you can be able to check python manage.py. Then we run the server to check if our application is running well. So it is now being served on this. So we are going to copy this. Let me run the server again. I stopped it accidentally. So this is what we are going to run. We can copy this and open it in a browser, any browser of your choice. Good. So the install worked successfully. So we are going to now make a few things, a few configurations before we can dive into the real back end. We are going to create a simple home page file here. We are going to come to our settings.py, our urls.py. So to configure a URL pattern for the home page, so we're going to add another path. This path is going to be empty strings representing home page, and it's going to be handled by views.homepage, and I'm going to give it a name. This name I'm going to call it home page, or I can just call it home. Good. So as you can see here, it is warning us that we don't have views. Yeah, we don't have views here, so we shall create views in this folder, views.py. And then when you get back to our arrows, we are going to import views from the current folder. Import views. Good. So the error has disappeared. Then in views, we are going to create a function called home page. So this is our views. We shall define a function. This function is home page, and it is going to take up a request, and it is going to return render. Render is a function which is able to return HTML files. So we shall render the request with index.html. So render is a function, so we have to import it on top here. So from the Django.shortcuts, import render. Good. So having that, we are now going to create our file index.html, which will be our home page. So we are going to come to our directory here. So all static files, all files like templates are always captured in one folder. So we are going to create a folder called templates, and in this templates folder, it's where we are going to have our index.html. So this is our index.html, and now we can switch it from the Django HTML to plain HTML, so that we are able to use the HTML shortcuts like the boilerplate. Good. So I'm going to give it a heading, employee system, and then we can give it a simple heading h1, welcome to our home page. Good. Welcome to our home page. Now let's check. After we have created the templates folder, we have to tell the Django where to find the templates, where to find all these templates. So we shall go into our employee system, then under settings we shall scroll down, and we look for templates, line 57. Then here we shall tell the Django to look for all the templates in the templates folder. So here we are good to go. After that, when we check our server is still running. Yes, so we can be able to refresh the page, and we should be able to get welcome to our home page. Yeah, this is a small typo. We shall update it. Then from there, we are also going to handle our CSS to make sure that our CSS is working fine. So what we are going to do, we are going to come to our Visual Studio Code, and we handle the CSS styling. So CSS files in the Django called static files. So all files like CSS, JavaScript, and images are always put in one folder, which we name static. So within the static folder, we can have subfolders like CSS, we can have subfolders like images, We can also have other subfolders like JavaScript. That is if we shall need JavaScript along the way as we are continuing with this project. So from there, we are now going to go to our CSS and we create a file there. We call it style.css. So having done that, we are going to first configure the Django to tell it where to find the static files. So we shall get back to our settings.py. Then at the bottom here, under static URL, we are going to add static files dirs. Make sure that the spellings are correct. Static files _dirs. Then after that, we are going to tell the Django where to find the static files. So we shall give it base dir, then slash our static files are in the folder named static. So having done this, we can now be able to come in our templates index.html, which is our home page, and then we are going to create a link to CSS. But now we have to first load the static files. So we shall load static files from here, load static, and then after that we shall come here to link our CSS. So instead of linking it directly like this, in the Django we link it by using curly braces, then percentage, then we start with static, then the folder where our CSS is css/style.css. So our style is now able to connect with our template. So for example, if we need to change this h1, maybe we change its color maybe to something else, we can be able to, let me just create our CSS here. Our style.css is here. This is our index.html. So when we target this h1, we shall come here and we put h1, and then as usual in CSS, this is normal CSS. I'm going to change the color to brown just to test it out. So let's go and refresh our page. Before we refresh the page, always make sure to check whether your server is still running. So the server is not running. Let's run it again. Good. So since it is running, you can now be able to refresh. Let's refresh the page. Good. So our CSS is also able to work.